Welcome everyone to today's Fireside Chat and happy Halloween. I'll be conducting today's chat. You can call me the Dude, Duder, Mel Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing. But we're going to go ahead and get started today talking about the broadcast email process, man. So with the broadcast email process, we kind of just wanted to walk through, now that it's that time of year, deal with proxies, deal with ballots, that sort of thing, getting notifications out to our homeowners. Kind of just wanted to walk through that broadcast email process. And then just make sure you guys don't have any questions. So again, everyone is muted for this portion of the conversation, but if you do have questions, please submit those to the chat feature in Zoom or just jot it down and we'll talk about it afterwards and bring that up. But let's go through, we're just going to walk through the process of creating a broadcast action item. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click new action item here. I've got my association selected. First of all, notice at the top there, because I want to make sure I create this in the appropriate association, right? So we're going with Presidential Valley. We're going to send a broadcast message. So when you're getting ready to type out your broadcast messages, it is first important to think through what type of broadcast message is it that you're sending, right? Now, one quick trick that you can use is just to think, first of all, right off the bat, do I want responses from this, or is this intended to just be a notification, right? Because we do have this do not reply broadcast message option that you can use. And when you send those messages out, they are going to go out as a do not reply. So if anyone tries to respond, they're going to get an automated response back saying, hey, you just tried to respond to a do not reply, silly. So it is very important when we're thinking through how we want these messages to be received and whether or not we want to receive responses back, right? So if I don't want a response back, this is just a one-way communication, I'll create that broadcast message DNR action item, and then those are going to go out as a do not reply. But if I want to maybe receive responses to some of these requests, I can create this as a broadcast message, right? Now, if I want to receive responses and I want my responses to be specifically related to ballots or to proxies, I would then create either that ballot request or that proxy request action item. So again, just to recap, if you're going to send out a broadcast message, thinking through, do I want to send this broadcast message and have people respond back to me? If so, I'll use either broadcast message, or maybe as it relates to ballots or proxies, I'll use one of those specific types. If I don't want responses, I will use broadcast message DNR. So let's choose that type there. So select our broadcast message DNR action item. And let's enter our message here. So we're going to say, happy Halloween, everyone. Have an awesome and safe day. All right. Let's make sure that we type this thing out correctly. And then I'll go ahead and click update and select here since I want to send this message out. So we'll do update and select. I can review my message here. There's my message. Let's say I wanted to change this message, right? So I'm in the action item. I want to actually change the message, maybe add some more content. What we can do is we can edit this action item and let's add some content. So let's say, oh, by the way, CAMS is here to help. All right, so then I can just do update and select again. That's going to update my message for me. Notice it's only updating in that detail section at the top. This is logging what you originally typed into the message. But whenever we go to send this thing and we're ready to send, we can preview our message just to confirm. There's our preview. Now, one thing that you will notice about our previews is that our previews don't bring over the line breaks, but those line breaks do get included in the message. So let's go ahead and send this out. I previewed it, looks good. We'll click update and we'll go ahead and send those broadcasts out. So once we send those broadcasts out, we can go back to our all action items page to see what it is that we sent, what it looks like, all that good stuff. So let's go do that. Let's go back to all action items. For those of you that do have your email addresses set up in Presidential Valley, you'll start to see those emails come in. But for the rest of us, let's go take a look. So I want to see, and we sent that out as a DNR, right? And then we'll filter that list here to include closed for Presidential Valley. And let's go see what we just did. And I want to sort descending. Anytime you sort your action items in an ascending or descending fashion, that is effectively the same thing as you sorting by created date. So for those of you that try to sort by created date or want to use that created time sort, you can really just sort your action items just the same. It's doing the same thing. So there's our broadcast message. Notice association broadcast message DNR. That's the actual action item that gets created on the homeowner's account. And there we can go see that message that was sent and click that little copy of the email link and see, yep, this is what that email looked like. Again, it did bring over my line breaks there. And then let's go a step further and click on that little homeowner link, and we can see, all right, well, it was actually sent to me. That's great. bdsnow@vanica.com. And then I can see that it was successfully delivered. So that's great. Now, I wanted to show you guys the message that I actually received, since we're talking about DNRs here. I want to respond to this. So let's go ahead and reply. Thank you. Yay. So I'm going to respond to that message from the perspective of a homeowner, and I'll just go ahead and delete that out of my inbox there. All right, let's clear this out. It will take a second for that DNR to come through. I just wanted to show you guys that. So again, sending broadcast messages, thinking through whether or not we want to receive responses, and then selecting the appropriate type from there. That broadcast message action item creates all of these individual messages, association broadcast message DNR action items on each homeowner's account. And we can see the account or the action item that they were generated from here. That lets us know, hey, this was generated from more than one homeowner account, just at a quick glance there. All right, so let me know if you guys have any questions about that. Most of you are experts on the broadcast process. We just wanted to take an opportunity to show you, here's a quick reminder how you can review, how you can change, especially for those of you that are new to the company. So that is broadcast emails. And once that do not reply comes through, I'll show you guys. Let's see, looks like I got a chat here. Let's see what's going on. Let's see, can you discuss the attachment? Yes, so I don't generally recommend stepping it straight to broadcast, right? Starting it in that review step, and then as you're going through to step it from review, if you add your attachments, adding them at that point. So let's go through that scenario then. So let's go to our broadcast message. We'll do the regular broadcast message this time. Here is my message. Update and select. And then when I'm ready to go send this message, I will step and add my attachments. Let's add a picture of this nice little fireplace here. Lovely. All right, so we just shot that out. Now, while we're waiting on that to process, I'll go ahead. It looks like I got a couple other questions that just came through. Let's see, Casey. What is the difference between regular broadcast DNR and tenants and homeowners? That's a really good question, Casey. So that tenants and homeowners, the only difference there is that it is also including an email to whatever tenant that you have set up on that account if they have an email address. So if you just select the broadcast message DNR, that's going to all of the email addresses on the homeowner's account. And that's an important thing to note. I shouldn't gloss over that. For those of you that are new to the process and aren't quite yet experts on broadcast messages, those do go to every single email address on the owner's account. And so if you select the broadcast message and owner or owners and tenants, that's going to not only all the email addresses on the owner's account, those are being sent to the tenants as well. So that's the difference there. And let me know if that makes sense, Casey, or if I need to clarify that a little further. Let's see. I don't have the option to enter the type only arrows. I'm not quite sure what that means, Jean Mayer. So maybe if you could give me a little bit more information about that, I'll be glad to take a look. And then to show you, Nicole, let's go back. I just got that email from Presidential Valley there. There's my email, here's my message, there's my one attachment. So again, if you are adding attachments to your broadcast messages, go ahead and create that broadcast message in the review step and then add your attachments when you're stepping it to broadcast. Yeah, so under the action type, if you don't see that you have, is that what you're saying? You don't see that you have this as an option? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Well, save that question. I'll finish walking through the rest, and then when we get to our Q&A session, we'll talk about it. So let's talk about that when we get to the end of our discussion here. So let's go on to, please you guys do let me know if you have any other questions about broadcast messages, and then we'll open up the floor in a few minutes and just kind of talk through all that stuff. All right, so let's go to the next topic here. Next topic that we wanted to talk about is this accounting request action item, or accounting question, excuse me. So we have built in a step to this accounting question action item specifically for W-9s. And AJ and your awesome IT team has it all set up so that way each time someone emails that W-9 email address, it's creating this accounting question action item in the W-9 step. So we are not using that W-9 email anymore. Just don't use it, dude. Use the accounting question action item, all right? And so if you have things related to W-9s, just go ahead and throw it in this W-9 step, man. So if you have other questions, not only for W-9s, but questions as it relates to your financials, questions as it relates to bank accounts and transfers, questions as it relates to adjustments on AR, or vendor documents, all these different things, we've built out these steps of this accounting question action item to replace the emails that you guys are sending the different people in accounting, right? We want to keep everyone's tasks more manageable. And by using this action item, instead of everyone just randomly blasting emails to our accounting staff, we can allow them to manage their tasks more efficiently. That means they're going to have better turnaround times for you guys. And that means that we're going to have more transparency on what's being done and what's being requested, and then how those responses are flowing. So if you have questions for your accounting staff, we're not sending emails, we're using this accounting question action item. Please be sure to create the action item under the appropriate association, so that way when your accountant man is getting that question, right, they're not having to dig through, man, all of the different associations to figure out what the heck you're talking about, right, man? So anyways, let's see here. Any questions on that? Accounting questions that homeowners ask managers might be more of a billing question, right? This is more internal related. Now, I mean, theoretically, yes, you can create an accounting question on that homeowner's account, but this is more intended for internal things. That's really a billing question, what you're talking about there, Cindy. All right, let's see. Anything else on the accounting request? We talked about the W-9s. Again, another reminder, don't use a W-9 email anymore. Use this action item. That W-9 email address is going to start pinging this action item, and we're eventually going to do away with that W-9 email address altogether, I would say. We just want things flowing through this action item here. Okay, other things as it relates to accounting. Fun stuff. Let's go to our association additional info. Now, I know that you guys have received a communication on this. This is just a friendly reminder from the dude here. Association additional info. We've got these two sections here: audit and taxes, accounting entry, audit and taxes, manager entry. This stuff used to be done in SharePoint with a bunch of ridiculous spreadsheets. We're now wanting to have this information updated in Vanica instead. I'm being told that this needs to be finished by November 15th. So if you're a manager, or if you're related to these processes in any way, please be sure that you have this stuff filled out for the associations that you work with by November 15th. Okay. All right. Now, with that being said, that gets through the list of all the stuff I had for you guys. Let's open up the floor for conversation here. Let's see. I'm going to unmute everyone. All right, so we're unmuted here. If you do want to go ahead and mute yourself back, fine. Feel free to go ahead and mute yourself back. And I wanted to jump through. Did you get your question answered? I'm not sure I know how to pronounce your name there. Jean Mayer. Did we answer your question, DNR? Looks like Nicole followed up on that as well. Did that question get answered for you guys? I don't know that I fully understood what she was asking.
she's saying that the drop down isn't dropping down for her. So there's no options. It just says choose type, but it's not dropping down with those options.
You're selecting like this and nothing's populating here? Or is which of these is not populated?
Hi, this is Jean Marie. It was the browser. When I went to go search like for DNR type, just at the way beginning, I had no search box. Type that into, and that was using Chrome. When I switched to Internet Explorer, it came up fine. So Nicole answered that for me.
Yeah, I don't know that it would necessarily be related to your, it sounds like maybe a refreshing issue. I've got a lot of people that use Chrome and don't have that issue. So what I would say is next time you run across that, just take a screenshot and shoot it over to bantica@camsmgt.com and we can troubleshoot that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
For sure, yeah. Let's see, it looks like I have some other questions here. Nope, okay. All right, so do you guys have any questions over anything I've gone over on broadcast messages? Anything I've gone over today? You just
Cindy has a question.
Let's see. Have multiple regimes with the same CPA audit info. Can you show me how to copy the details saved to Manica for the CPA so I don't have to rekey it over and over again? Oh, perfect. So let's do this. And just to make sure I understand what you're talking about there, man, we're talking about the assistant info, right? So you don't want to have to type this stuff here out over and over. So if you go in here and you enter in some notes and you click update, you can then go back and then copy. Right here, you can go back and copy and then select the associations that you want to copy that information to. So if you're entering the same exact information for all of these fields, you can enter it in one association and then just copy it over to all the other ones. So I hope that answers your question there. Hey, Cindy, so if you send an email to w9@camsmgt.com, it's just going to create the action item. So why not just create the action item? So that's what we're asking is instead of sending your emails to W9, just create the accounting question action item and put it in that step. You can send an email, but it's just going to do the same exact thing. So the emails that you guys are sending are not going to not go through, y'all. It's just going to create this type of action item, and we want things going through that action item instead.
Yeah, sometimes though we give it to we give that email address to our service provider for them to send W9.
Okay.
So that's why we would like to see that email remain.
Right. So we're not getting rid of that email. I mean, I can't speak to what may or may not happen in the future, but for your service providers, yes, giving them that email address is fine. For us internally, we're just going to create that action item. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see the description when you type a message. Are you talking about like when you go to create a new action item? Yeah. The description being made larger? Is that what you're talking about? I want to make sure I'm answering your question. Yeah, so when you're going to type in, here is a really long message to send to my homeowners. I can use the box, make that box big, all of that. So let me know if that does not answer your first question, Alicia, and then let me see about the second one here. Yes, and so we are working on basically message formatting. So a big editor, which is what you get. So ability to change font, delineate. So that is something that looking to have that in the next year or so. We're going to get your voicemail. Next couple of months. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, we had 2. Amazing.
Yeah, so if you have any other questions, please let me know. One specific thing I did hear earlier this week is we've had a lot of questions about ARC. So I wanted to mention that if you guys have any questions specifically about ARCs, or if any of you are new and maybe want to walk back through the process, I'm more than glad to address that as well. So yeah, I'm here for you guys. We got some time. I'm chilling with the dude here. Let me have it.
We do have Cindy Phillips and Tonine here at the BFMA office. So if there are any changes to the ARC process or anything like that that you want to go over, that would be helpful for our staff, since we've processed about 820 plus ARC modifications just this year.
Wow, yeah, that's we haven't made any changes to the process. I just heard different questions related to ARC, so I wanted to bring that up. Anyone on the call has questions, that'd be the perfect time to get that stuff sorted out. ARCs. Release coming. Pretty easy. Months to address that messaging stuff. So again, we're getting really close on being able to customize. But I'm at a loss. What else would you guys like to talk about? HOAs won't have full description. Letter. Description doesn't do it. Let's see here. Let me go to my chat real quick and see. I'm pretty sure. All right, so participants can now unmute themselves, so you should have the ability to unmute yourself, Sue.
Thank you. I have a question. In the future, BD, is there any plan to, the ARC usually go to the ACMs, and the manager really never gets notification that it's gone through the, what step it's in without us looking it up specifically. Is there any plan in the future to have just a message sent to maybe to the manager when it's approved?
Now that's something that could be done automatically. The problem is not every manager wants to be notified of every single approval.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's working that way.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, one thing that you could do, Sue, is have your ARC, when they step to approve, they can include a message to you when they're approving. So that is one thing that you can do just internally, so that way you are being notified of those approvals. So you could do it that way. Let's see, I've got one here. So let's show you an example. When they're stepping to, like, maybe the board's already made their decision and it landed in approved with conditions, and they're stepping. So that's really good. You want them to notify you when they're stepping to the decision step, or if the board's making the decision or the committee's making the decision, when they're stepping to one of your approval steps, like approved letter, you could go to the other email field and send an email there as well.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll just have them do that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this is a good time to plug in some of the changes we did make to the ACM role responsibility. We have taken the ACMs away from the ARC request action item and created an ARC coordinator role. And so for those managers that do want to be more hands-on with their ARCs, we do have the ability now to give you that ARC coordinator role and not give you the full assistant manager package.
Very nice.
Okay. Okay. And then to answer your question, Nicole, about overriding follow-up date, when you guys are stepping these to the review step.
Excuse me for a moment. BD, if someone's not speaking, can we ask that they kindly put their phone on mute? It's nice to be able to speak in, but having a lot of movement in the background makes it hard to hear you.
Yeah, thank you, Nicole. So yeah, to answer your question there, Nicole, notice when I stepped it to notify the committee, I set a custom follow-up date. So that's how you can go through and set your follow-up dates for like 20 or 30 days out if you want to. So let me know if you have any other questions about that or if that doesn't make sense, okay? Let's see. So Charlotte, you're asking about the lender questionnaire. What's your questions about the question?
This is Kellyanne, can I speak to that real quick? Sorry, BD.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we are still actually working on finalizing that, so we can just disregard that for now.
All right, thank you, Kellyanne. Let's see. And then I don't know that I understand, Nicole, when you say it still goes back to every 3 days, because when you are stepping to notify the committee, you can override the follow-up date and it will stay at the follow-up date that you've defined until you get on further down the process. So it's a little over a week out. So let me know if maybe you're seeing something else or if we should look at that in a different detail. For you have an example, maybe. One step that was defaulting to 3 days. I don't know. Let's go peel the curtain back here and take a look at the action item. Oh, it's set to repeat every 3 days. I don't know why that's really doing that. Is that doing that on other steps as well, EJ? So they're all just sitting to repeat. They're all set to repeat every 3 days. Yeah, so they're set to repeat every 3 days to remind you guys to deal with the decision. So that's why that follow-up is being overridden once the decision is made. So in order to remove that function, if you will, we would have to remove those 3-day reminders. So it's kind of just a decision, I guess, that would need to be made administratively. Does that make sense, AJ, as far as like how that's working and what the issue is, so we can walk it through with the rest of the team?
So they don't have individual internet.
Okay, cool.
People.
Yeah, all right. Okay. I'm going to take that as a compliment, AJ. Everyone, AJ said that he spells like I look, so I'm assuming that means I look great. He's an excellent speller. Yeah, so what other questions do you guys have for me today before we wrap up? Got any other questions for the dude? I hear some clicking. A White Russian, Cindy.
Dude, your phone is ringing, dude. Dude.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, it's been a pleasure hanging out with y'all today. If you guys don't have any other questions for me, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. We are posting these recordings to our CAMS YouTube page, so if you guys want to jump in and review what we covered today, or maybe, share it with someone who wasn't able to participate, definitely feel free to do that. And then, yeah, man, I just hope you all have an awesome day.
Thanks, BD.
Thanks for your help, BD.